Does it look like I'm naked?
Good morning. You can come with more. I think you feel so cool. Quite scared. Big reader.
Hello, here I am in my chair, of course. My plan for this week, I'm feeling a lot better, even from last week when I was feeling good as well. I'm still not pushing myself too much on the music this week in terms of the plan. I've been thinking, there's that pyramid, that hierarchy of needs. I don't know what they are, or all the levels are, but I feel like I'm still focusing on my physical and mental health, getting more exercise, being more consistent with my food and sleep. That's been doing better the last couple of weeks, but I still feel like I need a week or two more to focus on that before I can then start putting more of my mental energy into what I'm doing, music-wise. I don't try and do everything all at once because that's just gonna fail. Didn't contact the person I wanted to contact last week in regards for looking for a venue for my headline show that I want to put on, but I have spoken to some other artists that would be interested in also playing. My main goal today to look at some venues and maybe get an idea of a couple that I would like to play at. I completed all my Artist Way tasks last week, as you know, so I'm feeling good about that. I just want to read my chapter. I didn't do my chapter yesterday. But I'm going to read it today, and I would also like to edit last week's vlog today, or I can do that tomorrow. I'm not going to be too pushy with myself. Thank you for Joe's chair time. I feel like every single time I vlog it's just me sat in this chair. So I just got back from a little walk. I messaged the person I needed to message and did some research earlier today on 2 venues. I also took the Artist Way book. So I sat in the park and read the chapter for this week. On the way back, I went to the library and I was like, right, I'm just going to return these 2 books. But every time I go to the library, I just can't help myself having a little mooch around. I tend to buy more non-fiction, read and take out more non-fiction books than fiction books. I've got a big pile here of books that I've currently got out from the library. This one is fiction, and I just read my other fiction book. I finished it last night, so I was like, I need to get some more fiction books. So I did, and I'd taken it out and I returned my books, and I was literally just walking out the door and I was like, wow, look at you go, Joe. You've managed to take a fiction book out and not any non-fiction books. And just as I was walking out the door, I walked past the new books. Maybe I wasn't quite successful in the end, but I did only get 2 books out, which is pretty good going for me. 2 in, 2 out. I got this book from the LGBTQ plus section called Greenland, and then this is the one that I just impulse grabbed, all about balancing the 5 different areas of life. And I just read it, I was like, this is for me. I was like, this is gonna change my life, which is how I feel about pretty much every non-fiction book that I pick up. And some of them do. Some of them just you pick up little nuggets here and there, but some of them feel the fear and do it anyway. Literally, changed my life. I have been absolutely obsessed with a song called Lucy by Claire Rosenkrantz, and I cannot stop listening to it. I'm literally addicted to it. It's in my head every day, all day. It only came out 3 days ago. I don't think I can play it to you because of copyright, so just enjoy me dancing to it with some other music played over the top. Good morning. Why did I tip my hat like that? I'm on a little walk around the park, which is the biggest green space around my house, because I was doing my morning pages this morning and kind of planning out what I was going to do for my day, and I've got quite a few things I'm excited to get on with, and I was like, I'm just going to not go outside and just get on with my work, because I was feeling excited by it. But then I thought about what I said about the other day when I was on my lunch break at work and took myself out to the park to have my lunch and read my book, and how it's those little bits of self-care spitted throughout the day and week that make a big difference. And so I was like, you know what, even though I was feeling motivated and inspired to do the tasks that I had on my list for today straight away, I was like, I'll actually most likely feel better if I get outside. Like, look at the weather. It's so nice. I've been walking around this park for 3 years, and I went down a path that I've never been down before and discovered this like little like Zen garden thing, and I was like, wow, I'm still finding things. I've got quite a few things I want to do today. When I'm setting like goals for the day, I try and not set a lot. I read a book once years ago called The One Thing. Actually, I've read the book many times. It's one of my favorite like self-development books, productivity books, and it's about basically choosing one thing, and it helps you achieve that rather than like putting a whole list of things to do. So I try and like keep my achievement list for the day quite minimal, but in terms of my music today, I want to contact the venues that I found that were an appropriate size yesterday. Honestly kind of scary because I feel like I'm so unqualified and don't have the experience to do that, and I don't really know what I'm doing, but also what's the worst they can do, like just not reply to me, so it's fine. So I want to do that in terms of my music. In terms of New Zealand, I want to do some more research into some of the seasonal work that I can be doing, and what times of year is best, because I really want to do some work on a vineyard, and I'd like to do a ski season as well. So I kind of want to look like where I could be doing those things and what time of year, so I can have a vague plan of where I'll be when. And there's a guy that I used to work with that I think is currently working on a vineyard in Waiheke, which is where I'd quite like to do my vineyard work. As I said, it's the 1st of April. The 1st of every month is very exciting for me, because for some reason I absolutely love organising my finances. Don't know why, I just find it very satisfying. I got this book called Money Mentor for Christmas, and so I've been following that like personal finance system since then. And so at the start of every month I basically set out my budget and pay myself, and it sounds really mundane, but I just find it really exciting, so I'm going to be doing that. I also would like to do I have like a life maintenance routine, which is like 1.5 2 hours of basically organising like my calendar, making sure I've replied to all my emails. It's just like life admin. I'd like to do that today, and I feel like, that's quite a few things on my list, but it's an achievable amount. One music thing, one New Zealand thing, one money thing, and one just like admin thing. Oh my god. New phone location unlocked. Hello. So, everything went pretty well today. I achieved most of what I wanted to do. I didn't really get much research done into the jobs in New Zealand that I was talking about. I did message the guy that I used to work with though. I messaged the venues, I did my finances, I got through half of my admin tasks, and then I went to a yoga class, which was really nice. The yoga instructor was like 15 minutes late, but it was actually like quite nice because it was sunny and I was outside and I was reading my book, so it gave me a little time to like relax. And then I went to the pub with some friends, but that kind of like exhausted me. I think it might have been because I'd not really eaten very much. So it was a pretty good day. However, then I was quite hungry, and for some reason, and this is so unlike me, but I've gone and bought like frozen food, some like chicken goujons and some just chips. I was just craving some mayonnaise, to be honest. I was also craving pork pies. I was like, that'll be too much. So I was just like chips, chicken, mayonnaise. That's, not the healthiest meal, but I was like, that's all I really want right now. Or I was gonna have some eggs, or like some tuna. I just really was craving some like beige food. But that is that on that. Successful day. Next one tomorrow. Let's go. My entire body hurts this morning. Started getting back more into my exercise this week. I did climbing on Sunday. Monday I went to gymnastics and I went on a run. Yesterday I did yoga. I'm gonna go on another run this morning. I've started like a 5k training plan because it's been forever. But like my calves hurt, my forearms hurt, which will be fine with running. My hip hurts, the sole of my foot hurts. I'm like walking around like a 95-year-old, but we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna like maybe pull it back and go a little bit easier today. I'm gonna do some stretches and then go out. You know, but I'm feeling good. I think maybe it's just the sun, but you know, I'm moving my body more. My sleep schedule, I'm just finally hitting around 8.5 hours, so I'm not sleeping for like a ridiculous amount. So I think like my body is kind of leveling out. So with the sun coming out and the weather is becoming much nicer, I am finally going to return my hammock to the garden. Yes, I'm gonna have some lunch and sit in the garden and read my book in my hammock. I love my hammock. I bought it for like £35 from Lidl like 2 years ago. Maybe one of the best purchases I've ever made. It's just so nice, it's so nice. I in fact have been inside most of the day. It's just not been very interesting to show you. I've just been doing my business assistant work, sat at that little chair in my bedroom on my laptop, doing statistical analysis of customer engagement, blah, 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 blah. But I'm currently on my way to yoga with my favorite yoga teacher. It's like a vinyasa 45-minute flow. It's quite strong, but like nice and fast and like nothing too crazy. And it's really nice for me to do that at like the end of my work day, because otherwise sometimes if I'm like really in the flow of work, I can go on for hours, which may sound good, but actually then I time myself out and the next day I feel like not doing anything. So it's good to have like a definite stop point. And then tonight I've got a gig. Good friend Clara is playing a gig at the Grace in Islington. So go to yoga, go home, have some dinner, and go and watch her. Maybe I'll bring you along. Maybe you can come and watch. So I just got back from yoga. My dinner is in the oven. So I've got about 15 minutes and I'm gonna just try and finish off my life admin that I didn't quite get done yesterday. If I have something I need to do, I record on my watch a little voice memo, and then part of my life admin is going through all my voice memos and then doing those tasks, or if it's like a bigger project, making note of that project. And also I go through all of my photos that I've taken and just clean those up. Yeah, and like plan for what I'm doing the next week. Almost every time I go to a gig, I'm just like, it reaffirms that I'm like, this is amazing, I'm inspired, I love music, it's amazing, this is what I want to do for my life. And like, Clara is just so good. I've seen her like, I can't even count anymore, but like, every time I see her she gets better and I'm like screaming in the crowd. I'm like such an embarrassing fan of like any music I go to that I'm like a fan of. Even if I know the person, I just become like a rabid fan, and I'm like, yeah! And I'm like, something just takes over me. You know, maybe I'm a musician, but I'm more so a crazy fan. Crazy fan. Hello. Anyway, that was today. Pretty good day. I'm seeing Clara tomorrow, and we are going to see Orla Gartland. So another gig where I can be a rabid fan, except I'm not friends with this artist. I'm just a fan. So, yep. Last 2 weeks I've really been feeling so much better. Is it the sun? Is it the fact that I'm like getting things done? I don't know. I think it's just like all the little changes that I'm making all add up to make me feel a lot better. The fact that I'm actually going outside every day. And like I'm taking the time to go on these little walks. And like even when I'm at home, I'm trying to do work like as close to outside as possible, like opening my big window. Obviously it helps that it's now sunny, so it's actually nice to do this thing. Today, I'm gonna do my like business website design work. Maybe I'll try and get a couple of the artist's way tasks done as well, maybe in my lunch break or something like that. Yesterday there was a moment where I was like feeling like a little overwhelmed. In like a good way, I was like, oh, like I'm getting loads of stuff done. But I'm very aware from the past that even when it's feeling good, I'm like, oh, I finally got everything down. That like it's too much and it's never sustainable. So I'm still, even if I feel like I'm doing lots of things I enjoy, I'm still trying to be very aware of if I'm overdoing it, because I want to like get it to a place where it's sustainable in the long term and not just for like a week before I then hit the ground and feel like shit again. Hello. Hey Siri, play the album Solar Power Deluxe Edition. As I mentioned the other day, I contacted like 4 or 5 venues for the gig that I'm playing, and one just got back to me, and I know they're just replying, but like I'm very excited. I've never like planned a gig before. Well, I have actually, I did it for uni, but I've never done one for myself, and it's quite exciting because also the person that replied was my favourite one. Still 75 people, which I've been in that room. I'm gonna say you cannot fit 75 people in that room, but it's fine. I am quite scared, like nervous, because I'm like, I'm not sure how many tickets I'll be able to sell, but I'm very excited. I've not booked anything yet. I've not even responded to this person, but they've replied to me with the details, and I'm excited. Gig yesterday, so good. Orla Gartland is so much fun, and so this morning I'm going on a run. I've just done my morning pages, but I just wanted to tell you about this book that I finished. I don't really mention, but I'm a big reader. Love reading. I love myself like a lot of non-fiction. I tend to read a lot of like self-development-y type stuff. I also read some fiction as well. I always have a fiction and a non-fiction on the go. But this is the one that I just finished. It's been on my list for a while. I thought, so it's about the internet. It's called The Shallows, how the internet is changing the way we think, read and remember. And I thought it was going to be like stop using social media and like kind of that, but it was a lot more sciencey and about the actual brain and things, and which I actually loved. I think if I wasn't a musician, I would like to get into brain science, or like how the actual biology of and like how we work with like the modern world. And so this basically went through the history of media and how it has changed the way that we do things, from like when books were invented, and then TV, and then the internet, and how like the neuroplasticity of the brain and the neural pathways all changing, and how the things we do make our brain literally physically change, because the internet like overloads your brain with like so much stimuli, that you are less able to focus as deeply on whatever it is you're looking at. And it was kind of scary, actually. It did scare me a little bit, because I was like, this is terrifying. I was like, how what we're doing is like changing literally our physical brains. So it is such nice weather today that I'm going to do all of my work outside, even in the morning. Well, I say that, it's 11:30. It's not really the morning anymore, is it? So I'm just currently taking my work stuff outside. It's nice and sunny. And then I've got my little setup, and then I'm going to do some work, and it's in the sun. Good morning. I am exhausted. I worked for 14 hours yesterday. I got to sleep at 4:30 and I woke up at 9:30. No, 10 to 10. So I've had 5.5 hours of sleep. But yesterday I went to the park again during my work break, which was nice. And I took my little sketchbook and did some doodling, which I'm not good at drawing or anything, but you know, I've been enjoying it lately. So that was my artist date for the Artist's Way. There are some more tasks that I want to do for the Artist's Way this week, because there was quite a lot, but I've only done a few of them. But I am out all day today. I'm going to go to the gym this morning, because as part of my new running program that I've been doing, it suggests that I should also go to the gym at least once a week. And then I'm going to see a friend in a park. I'm going to have a picnic. So I'm not sure what time I'm going to get back. But that is that on that. I made myself the most enormous bowl of porridge. I'm not sure how you can see how big this bowl is, but she is hefty. Someone's hungry this morning. As you know, I've been sitting in this chair for a while. And that's ever since I did my bedroom sessions. I'm rearranged my bedroom, because this was where my keyboard was. But then I reset up the corner of my bedroom to do my performance and never moved the chair back, because I've been loving the chair here. However, that's been an issue for I've not played piano since, because I always had my proper keyboard out to play. And that's been under the bed since the bedroom session. I've just had my little keyboard, which is good for like performance, but it's not like always set up because it's not connected to my computer and it's not all loaded up, so I found myself like not playing piano at all. And I like to just sit and like have it there so I can just play. And so I've just spent half an hour setting it up, and it's a little bit mishmash, but now I have a nice little piano corner. Look at this. So I've still got my chair, and I've got my piano corner, and I've got, so I can practice my setup here, and I can put my laptop here and plug all this into that with my interface, but I've still got my keyboard and my amp to like sit down and play when I actually want to play. Right, so I have booked a singing lesson with a quite expensive vocal teacher, but apparently she is absolutely insane and life-changing. Like insane in a good way. She's insanely good, but I'm not doing it regularly. I just kind of want to go to basically check if there's anything that I'm doing drastically wrong technique-wise that is like actively harming my voice, which I'm almost certain there is, because often when I'm singing my voice gets like painful and tired very quickly, especially if I'm singing larger songs, like higher songs, which I tend to write all my songs right at the top of my range. I assume I'll go and she's gonna be like, oh, play something for me, like sing something for me. And so I think I'm gonna choose this song that I'm in the middle of writing, because I find I play it once and my voice is exhausted already. So I feel like that's gonna be a good example of what I'm doing bad. I've never felt lonelier than now, falling asleep to an imaginary sound. It's your heart beating, I miss the feeling that drum under your skin's the sweetest lullaby. I'm riding the northern line, walking the heath, swimming the ponds and chasing the heat. I'm searching the bookstores to work out who I'll be. I fear every question that connects you to me. I'm a bitch to the intrigue and a slave to release. I'm losing myself, but I don't know what I need. So I keep coming back, yeah, I keep coming. Thinking of you hurts me. Thinking of you heals me. Thinking of you leaves me empty. But I still watch the memories, my favorite movie on repeat. And I still think of you before I sleep. And that, I'm 2 verses in, not even hit the second chorus, my throat hurts. So I'm like, something is wrong and I hope this woman can help me. Now I'm just playing some old songs. I'm doing some songwriting. There was a song that I've been working on for ages where the last verse was only half complete and I couldn't get it, but I think I've got it. I'm not going to play that verse though, but I'm just going to play at the start of the song. It's not finished yet. I don't think I've got the chorus. I want to completely rewrite the chorus, but the verses I love. I knew this boy when I was 18, not that well, just face and name. I heard the news when I was 20, through a friend that used to date him. He took his life and no one has the answer why. I think about him all the time, I think about him all the time. Only 12 when I found the scars running down my best friend's arm. She took it lightly, brushed it off, made me promise not to tell. I watched them grow over the years, I kept my lips sealed, they were so clear. Think about her all the time, I think about her all the time.